Hello and welcome to the Padawan podcast, Apocaflix Movies All Star Wars podcast, where we geek out on everything from the galaxy far, far away. I'm your host, Jake Brilliant, aka Qui-Gon Jake, and I am joined today by my fellow Academy members, Jacob Bartley. How's it going, man?
It's going freaking great. I'm so excited for tonight, Batman v Superman, but I'm really excited to talk Star Wars as well.
As well as Gio Ramos. What's going on?
What's going on, decent Jedi?
All right, well, we got a bunch of things to talk about today. We got Han Solo, couple new images from Force Awakens deleted scenes, some rumors going around about possible Episode 8 stuff, but we're going to jump right into it. Via The Hollywood Reporter, the official shortlist for the Han Solo casting has come out. And the cast list has been narrowed down to three names, names that we've heard of before. Taron Egerton, Jack Rayner, and Alden Ehrenreich, I want to say. Yep. And of course, there could be names that are involved that we don't know at the time. But let's jump right into it and what we think of one of these three actors possibly taking up the mantle of Han Solo. Jacob, let's start with you.
All right, so I've been saying all along for the past 6 months or so that my number one choice is Taron Egerton. Even after just seeing Kingsman, this is the guy, because if you're going for that young Han Solo, he pulled off all those things you want in Han Solo in Kingsman. But I am not really familiar with the other two names, so I can't say that he would be a better choice than them. I did see Transformers 4, unfortunately, and I'm not going to blame Jack Rayner for that movie. I mean, he was just an actor playing the character that they wrote for him in a horrible movie. And I have not seen Hail Caesar, but I heard that Alden Ehrenreich freaking kills it in that movie. I know you've seen the movie, Jake, so I can't really speak on that. But, I mean, we want Taron Egerton. That's what a lot of people want. We've heard that the directors, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, really like Taron Egerton. Mm-hmm. And after seeing Eddie the Eagle, I know he can do something different, not just what he did in Kingsman. So, obviously, I want Taron Egerton, but if they like these other guys and they think he's going to be a good fit, they're going to be a good fit, then I'm totally cool with it too.
Yeah, I kind of agree. He seems like not the perfect casting, but the best choice at this time. He's not super known at the moment, and you don't really want a superstar in the role of Han Solo. Someone like a Miles Teller or something like that. It doesn't really work. You mentioned Kingsman and Eddie the Eagle. I thought two different roles that he excelled at. And yeah, he just kind of looks like he can play the Han Solo role really great. The charm, the action, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could also see the other two being possibly Han Solo as well. Alden Ehrenreich was arguably the best part of Hail Caesar, one of the few best parts of Hail Caesar. His chemistry with Ralph Fiennes was fantastic. I thought he played the role very strong. And like you said about Jack Rayner Transformers, you can't really judge him off that role. It's hard to judge anybody off a Transformers movie. They're not really given a lot to do. I haven't been able to see Macbeth, but I heard he's really good in Macbeth.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, I mean, it's a great short list because nobody is that well known, and we were kind of hoping for an unknown sort of actor taking on this role. But Gio, let's shoot over to you, man. I mean, what do you think of the short list, and who's your top choice to play young Han Solo?
What happened to Anthony Gruber?
Well, I don't think he was ever involved.
They did say that Disney said there may be a few other names in the running as well.
Yeah, so he could possibly be in there, but
I would actually not mind. I know you're totally against this, Jake, but Ansel Elgort.
Oh, Ansel Elgort, yeah.
The guy who he's in the Divergent movies, but again, same with Jack Rayner, you can't blame him for being in those movies. I actually think he's a pretty good actor, and I think he has the look. But go ahead, Gio.
I mean, Taron Egerton's the safe choice as far as us film geeks are concerned. The rest of the general audiences probably don't know him by name, but they'll know him by face.
They'll recognize him, yeah.
Right. As for the other two, like you guys or like Jacob said, I can't really speak on it because I haven't seen too much of them. And also, I've learned from the Spider-Man casting with Tom Holland that you can never trust these casting rumors or shortlists or whatnot because, it's one thing when they officially announce an actor, but then when all these other outlets go and assume that this actor is cast, and then it ends up being somebody totally different, and you're just like, what, But I mean, I put my money on Taron. I think he's the guy
So I know, Jacob, you had said that if you had to choose a guy, it would be Ansel Elgort.
Oh, I would not choose him over Taron Egerton.
So okay, well, if you could choose your perfect casting, who would it be? Do you have one pick, a top pick?
Taron Egerton.
It would be Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
All right, Gio, do you have a top guy?
Taryn.
It would be. All
If
right.
they're
well,
going for young 22-year-old Han Solo, Taron Egerton for sure.
Cool. All right, well, sticking with a little bit of Han Solo news, but moving towards Episode 8. Episode 8 is currently filming in Dubrovnik, and a couple, this could be considered spoilers, but StarWarsNewsNet.com, where we kind of get all our Star Wars news at, do a great job of compiling everything. They grabbed some photos and possibly rumored news of what they're currently filming on the planet, and it's rumored to possibly be a funeral setting and a specific planet not being named yet, and what we could think of as it's Han Solo's funeral and possibly being Han Solo's planet, home planet that is, something we haven't seen before. So I kind of want to go around the table, get the thoughts, is this a good thing? Do we need to see a Han Solo funeral? Would it be good to see his home planet we've never seen before? Gio, let's start with you.
Do we need to see it? Kind of yes, because in Force Awakens, we talked about the missed opportunity between Leia and Chewie. Like they deserved a moment where one of their her husband, his best friend, just got killed, and we as fans, especially people longtime fans of the original trilogy, needed to see that. So I think in Episode 8 they can kind of fix that. Give Han Solo a little funeral, give some time to see some of the original characters. Maybe Luke shows up. Who knows for the funeral? That's just a little wild speculation, but yeah, I think we need to see it. And also, if it's taking place on Han Solo's home planet, what a way to introduce it before the anthology film. So that makes sense, But yeah.
Jacob?
Absolutely, yes, we need to see this because one of the main problems that I know we had and a lot of people have with The Force Awakens is they kind of rushed and glossed over the after effect of Han Solo's death. We talked about it, I think it was last Padawan or the one before, how, when they get back from Starkiller Base, that Chewie just, walks by Leia and we don't get to see them mourn over Han's death together. And Han's death is huge on Luke, too. So I think this might be the first time we see Leia and Luke together again is at Han's funeral. I hope so. I mean, I know it's supposed to kick off right where the last movie left off. So I'm assuming it picks up there. Maybe it depends though, because if we're gonna see Luke and Rey training, they're not gonna wait 6 months to do Han Solo's funeral. So I'm not sure. But even if Luke's not there, I think it'll be a perfect place to show Chewie and Leia mourning together and just pay respect to Han Solo because he wasn't just popular amongst fans. In the Star Wars universe, he's General Solo. He's a war hero. Yeah. He's taken part in saving the galaxy multiple times. So they have to show respect to him in the story and to us fans as well. So of course, and just like Gio said, I was going to say the same thing. This is genius of them to introduce this planet, and then we're going to go back there for the Han Solo anthology film, at least the beginning of it, I would assume. So I actually really like this.
Yeah, I kind of echo everything you guys said. I do want to ask, though, would it be a missed opportunity, or let's say, do they need to put Luke at his funeral?
They don't have to, but I think it would be nice.
Gio?
I could see Luke standing in the hills, from a distance, looking down with his arms folded,
kind of like a Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Wow, you read my mind. Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. Yesterday, Entertainment Weekly dropped a few new images for Star Wars The Force Awakens, detailing the Blu-ray deleted scenes we'll be seeing when the movie's released. What is it, 2 weeks from now? April 5th, I think it is.
2 weeks, yeah.
So just going through the deleted scenes real quick. There's going to be a scene involving Finn on Jakku from the very opening in the movie. Han Solo, Finn, and I think Maz Kanata in Maz's castle dealing with some stormtroopers. Kylo Ren and the Millennium Falcon, the scene we've all heard of. There's also one with Princess Leia where she's apparently been introduced earlier in the film, which is a deleted scene. And Poe Dameron and his fighter squadron going into Lightspeed. And then a scene that you actually might love, Gio. Rey at the end of the battle lightsaber and Finn as he's unconscious.
Yeah.
There's also another one, the speeder chase that we've heard out in the snow between Rey, Finn, and the stormtroopers leading up to the lightsaber battle. So we've kind of heard about these before. They were detailed a couple weeks back, but now that we have official word of what we're going to get to see and a couple new images, what are you looking forward to the most? Jacob, we'll start with you.
I mean, we've talked about these deleted scenes a lot, but I'll say it again. I'm looking forward to the Kylo Ren in the Millennium Falcon scene because even though I think a scene between him and Han Solo would have been a lot more and carried more weight to what happens later on in the movie, I think this would have done at least a little bit. So they should have had this in the movie, but I'm super excited to see it in the deleted scenes. And they said there's a scene where Han Solo's talking back to stormtroopers. That sounds fun. I mean, not much new to talk about. It's just cool to actually see these images and get us all. It's all just to get everyone to buy these Blu-rays. So
yeah,
which
is going to happen.
I'm going to buy it anyway, but maybe some casual Star Wars fans will be like, "Oh wow, I'll buy this now." So I like it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the Kylo Ren Millennium Falcon one is the best because that's something we've heard out for a long, long time. And like you said, it would put more weight to the story. The other than I know Gio's going to talk about the Snowspeeder one, but the one I really interested in is the Han Solo and Stormtroopers one, because Entertainment Weekly, they say that for those craving a little bit more of Solo's smart-ass swagger, this moment
that's
will
what
make
I
you
was
say
saying.
I love you.
It sounds fun.
So that sounds like a classic Solo,
Yeah.
which is something we didn't really get to see as smart-ass comments like we did in the original trilogy in The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. There were a few, but not like classic Han Solo. So that one definitely excites me. Gio?
Man, y'all already know. Like, seriously. All right, so the only scene worth talking about in here is the one where Daisy Ridley's Rey is in the Resistance watching over critically wounded friend as she gets an update on his condition from Dr. Chick.
Dr. Chick.
So it didn't need to be added because we already saw Rey sitting over Finn, holding his hand and whatnot.
Yeah, giving him a kiss on the forehead, which clearly puts him in the fin zone. So
we do not need to go through this once again, okay?
Dude,
remember,
he's fin zone.
Remember
Come
who
on.
start? Okay, guys. Anyways.
by the way, Jake and I are coining that phrase. If you've been put in the friend zone, you're in the fin zone from now on.
Perfect.
Well, no, he's not in the fin zone yet because it's still 2 episodes to go, and I'm calling it right now. By the end of episode 9, they're having a kid. So that's that. Anyways,
I will laugh.
that scene is worth watching.
My butt off if that happens.
When you get the Blu-ray, go to that scene first and watch it, and then you'll see what I'm saying.
You are so set on that.
All right, any more comments about deleted scenes? Anything? Gio, you got any more last words?
Ray and Finn.
All right. Well, moving on. So we've heard ever since the announcement of The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams has been involved with Star Wars. He's a lifelong Star Wars fan. He was not locked in to direct Episode 8. And people have always been wondering why, would he ever come back to Star Wars? And J.J. Abrams came out. He said he won't ever direct a Star Wars movie again. His quotes, he says, "It was a wonderful way to visit a place that means so much to me and obviously so many. I knew that if I worked, it was the perfect time to step down. And if it didn't, no one would want me to do it anyway." And he continues by saying, "I'm very happy to be where I am. Rian Johnson is brilliant and needs no help from me. As executive producer, I've been collaborating with them, but they are obviously doing all of the heavy lifting, and it's very exciting to see what's going on." So I would personally love to see him come back and direct a Star Wars film eventually. J.J. Abrams in the past has been known for kind of leading people on different ways. So just get right to the point. Do we believe him?
No, not at all. And even if right now he doesn't want to direct one, he'll come back.
I think he will.
Because
yeah.
what did Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy say? Star Wars is the forever franchise. He'll come back. Maybe he'll do an anthology film. Maybe he'll direct the first movie in the next trilogy.
Yeah,
Why not? And I'm not going to take credit for this. I was watching Jedi Council and something that Campea said. First of all, John Campea, he said that J.J. Abrams has, misled us plenty and plenty. He said he wasn't going to direct Star Trek 2, And he also said that Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't Khan,
yeah.
and also he said that eventually J.J. Abrams is going to start thinking about his legacy and what he's going to be remembered as a director. And he did something great in bringing back Star Wars and bringing it back to glory, but doing it again would just only solidify him as one of the great directors of our time. I'm not saying he's that yet, but maybe by the time it gets to this point, he'll be thinking about that. So never say never. Ever, never say never. So I think he'll definitely one day direct another Star Wars movie again. But I do like how he's saying, he has respect for Rian Johnson, and he's the one leading this ship, and he really likes what they're doing. So I like those comments, but I do not believe him one bit about not directing another Star Wars movie.
I agree with Jacob as far as never say never. He could always come back and direct. George Lucas could always come back and direct Star Wars.
That ain't never happening.
You never know.
That's never happening.
That's never
That's
happened.
never happening.
But I don't think he'll come back. I think he really wants to come back. But I mean, now that the next 5 or 6 films have already been placed, I think they're just going to keep going, bring in some fresh blood in there, some fresh talent, creative minds in there. And I think J.J. Abrams is better served as a producer, honestly. I'm not saying I don't like his director stuff, but if you look at his IMDb and the kind of stuff he's produced,
Well, look at Cloverfield.
It's pretty impressive.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
10
He was an
Cloverfield
executive
Lane,
producer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody saw that film coming. So, again, never say never, but I think he's done. But, you never know. I mean, none of us know.
Yeah, I kind of don't believe him either. I think he will come back at some point. Whether it's a movie, I don't know, because he is heavily involved in television. So I could possibly see him, if it ever happens, maybe being involved in a Netflix Star Wars show, if they ever greenlight that. Because he's always been involved in television. He always goes back to it. So that's definitely a possibility. Him coming back to direct the first film, the next trilogy, is interesting because it'll never happen, but what if the possibility of J.J. Abrams doing the first, Rian Johnson doing the second, Colin Trevorrow doing the third, the three of them just work together on the trilogies?
That would be kind of cool.
Because, maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I do like his comments. He says he's happy where he's at. He did what he needed to do. He set it up. He set the new franchise in motion. But I would love to see him come back because I think he's a great director. I like what he does. So.
Well, I will say this. It makes sense. I won't be surprised if he doesn't come back because directing a Star Wars movie is a huge risk because if you get it right, you're glorified. But if you mess it up, you are in the doghouse for a long time, especially with Star Wars fans. So The Force Awakens was great, and it was a hit, and most of everyone loved it. So he's good right now. If he directs another Star Wars movie and messes it up, then that takes that all away. So I could see why he wouldn't want to do it. But also, I like what you said about a TV. I could see him executive producing a TV show and then directing the first episode, the pilot episode.
Yeah, setting it up.
Just like every other TV show, have different directors. And he'd obviously write, too. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe Knights of the Old Republic. Who knows?
Yeah.
Even though we do want a movie.
Well, they can kind of do both if they
Yeah,
wanted to.
Sure.
All right, well, moving on from movie news, a little bit of book news, starting off with comic books. It was revealed over the weekend that Rogue One will be getting a prequel comic before it's released, or a prequel novel, I should say, and also a three-issue series based on the movie. It should come out in November, as the article says. I kind of just want to get you guys' thoughts. Do we want to see a prequel novel? Are you guys going to pick it up? And what do you think about the issue covering the movie? Maybe from a different perspective?
I think it's cool. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me. If I hear about the book and I hear that people like it's great, I'll probably pick it up. But I do like it because they can't cover everything in the movies. So it kind of gives us a little bit of background story, covers all the little tiny things that they can explain. And, the casual fans aren't going to read this stuff. But for us diehard fans who are probably going to read it, it just makes it all the better for us. So I don't mind it at all. It's cool. Not that big of a deal, though.
Gio?
I think it's smart because Rogue One is kind of a prequel to Episode 4. And then after, let's say Rogue One releases and then people love it, you can't really do a prequel to a prequel, that doesn't work. So why not give a little bit of backstory on this Rogue One squad, the team. Maybe the 3 issues, 1 issue is Felicity Jones, and The other issue is, whoever else is on.
Yeah, we don't really know the
Johnny
names
Yen.
yet,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, I got a little blank there. So I think it's smart, and the one shot, I'm curious if it's going to be released online or if it's going to be like a part of,
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
buy the one shot on Blu-ray for $14.99. What? Like, you kidding me? Yeah. So smart move. I like it, and it'll just bring more awareness, because people are going to see Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but they're so used to the episode, 5, 6, 7, or something else, so.
Sticking with Rogue One, I kind of want to just off topic a little bit. When do you guys think we'll get a new trailer, or the first trailer, I should say? Captain America.
I would have
probably the best bet.
I would have said tonight, but not happening. Civil War. Probably.
Who knows, man? They are being so weird about it. Like, obviously it's totally different because it's the episodic films. We got the first teaser trailer for Star Wars: Force Awakens over a year before the movie came out. Again, it's not one of the episodic films, but the movie is what, like 7, 8 months away?
Yeah, it's about 8 months.
So, a little teaser trailer probably by Jungle Book or Civil War.
Oh, yeah, Jungle Book's next week or next
Like,
month. That's right.
Like a 30-second teaser or something. I don't know.
This could signal production problem.
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
sticking with a little of book news. A new synopsis has come out for Claudia Gray's Bloodline novel, and Claudia Gray, if I'm not mistaken, did Lost Stars.
Yes, she did.
She did Lost Stars, and it's
which
one of the
is
most
arguably
the best
that
Star
and Lords
Wars
of the
novel.
Sith are
Yeah.
considered the two best novels to come out.
And her next novel is called Bloodline, and it's gonna cover Leia after Return of the Jedi. And a new synopsis coming out, and it is as follows: the entire generation has prospered during the era of peace. The New Republic, governed by the Galactic Senate on the Hosnian Prime, has held power for more than 2 decades. The wars that divided the galaxy are fading into legend. Yet conflict has begun to take shape within the Senate. 2 unofficial but powerful factions has formed: the populists, who believe individual planets should retain almost all authority, and the centrists, who favor a stronger galactic government and more powerful military. As the political gridlock threatens to cripple the fledgling democracy, centrist leaders have called for the election of the first senator. It is their hope that this powerful position will bring order to the divided Senate. But populists like Senator Leo Solo know all too well the price of such order. Even as the election nears, the divisions between worlds of galaxy are growing wider. So, thoughts, gentlemen?
So basically, it's the separatists against the central government all over again, right?
Maybe.
Sort of.
Maybe.
I like it. It gives a little bit of obviously after the Empire is destroyed in Return of the Jedi, everything just doesn't go back to normal, okay? You got to have some sort of structure, order, establishment, and, a lot of people have different opinions. You look at politics today in our world, everybody wants, something different, So I like where this is going. Those of you who wanted politics in Star Wars and didn't get much of it in The Force Awakens, you're getting it here, getting a little backstory, and I think it's exciting. It's what Star Wars needs.
Yeah, to add, it's said that the book is supposed to take place around 10 to 12 years before The Force Awakens.
Okay.
And the synopsis kind of reads like it's going to be all political, but the image is actually Leia with Darth Vader in the background. So maybe that'll play a little bit into it. Jacob, what do you think about it, man?
I absolutely love this
I agree.
synopsis.
I agree.
I freaking love it. I'm 100% for sure either picking up this book or the audible version, because another, the Han Solo death, like the after effect of it, and then another negative at least I have with The Force Awakens, is they didn't really explain the political, structure that was going on during, the time that they take place, or what happened since Return of the Jedi. This movie's going to explain
Book.
Apologies. This book is going to explain what happened after Return of the Jedi, what's going on now, and kind of leading up to The Force Awakens. And not only that, it's going to touch on Leia and Han and Kylo Ren and some stuff with Vader. So I don't think I've ever been more excited for a Star Wars book or a book in general.
Yeah, we'll be splitting the audiobook.
I cannot.
I think it's the one we're going to get.
I want to get Lost Stars and I want to get Lords of the Sith, but this is one I feel like I have to get. So I love this.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same track with you. The synopsis, it sounds incredible. The political side of it, in Star Wars news, that they kind of do say that this is just a preliminary synopsis, so it could change. But from what it sounds like it's going to be a very interesting novel. And one thing I kind of caught while reading it is they actually call her Leia Organa Solo, and which means that Han and her are actually separated, and maybe it happens within this book. Like she does kind of walk away from the Solo name, and who knows how that happens or what happens.
So you said it's like what? How many years before the Force Awakens?
It said it's supposed to be around a decade to 12 years.
Okay, so that means, I mean, what is Kylo Ren 30 in the Force
Yeah,
Awakens?
so we're thinking he took off around 18 to 20 years.
Yeah, so that's gonna be
like perfect
so
timing.
interesting.
Yeah,
to learn.
I hope
about,
they cover that in this book.
Dude, we have to get the Audible book.
Yeah, well, that and many more.
Yeah,
We've
I
been talking
know,
about that
right?
for a
I
while.
know.
All right, well, moving on, we're going to talk about a little bit of Star Wars Rebels now, and Jacob and I are going to sit back and review the last 2 episodes that have aired last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was The Forgotten Droid, which covered was a chopper-centric episode. Him on his little mission with his little evil Empire buddy. And then this week's was called Mystery of Chopper Base, which covered the new Rebel base that they're going after. So starting with The Forgotten Droid, Jacob, what do you think about the episode?
I call these episodes the forgotten episodes and the mystery of why they are filler episodes. Yeah, both of them filler.
I agree.
There's nothing significant that's leading towards the end of this series. These should have been in the beginning or the middle of the season. That being said, like their significance is totally irrelevant unless there's stuff in here that's going to have repercussions in the future that we don't know about. So we have to keep that in mind. But there are still watching them. It's still Star Wars. There's still lightsaber fights going on. There's still cool things going on. So overall, they're not boring. Like I still enjoy watching them. And there's little tiny character moments that I really enjoy, like seeing. So we're talking about The Forgotten Droid first. Yeah. So that I actually liked it probably a little bit more than Mystery of Chopper Base because I told you this after I finished the episode. Yeah, it seems like a filler, but if that droid
Sticks around.
is sticking around and going to become a centric part of the team, then that's not a throwaway episode because you had to introduce him and you had to let us get to know him a little. We know his backstory now.
Yeah.
We know where he came from. We saw a little bit of the chemistry between him and Chopper, even though it is like a poor man's version of C-3PO and R2-D2. It's still that same type of relationship. So maybe they wanted to have that dynamic in Rebels now. But so we'll see how important that droid becomes. So yeah, but overall throwaway, but I didn't mind it still.
Yeah, I kind of have the same feelings. It's actually my least favorite of the season so far. Just because we're so late in the season, like I don't need to see this episode. It just takes me out of it. Like you said, it should have been earlier in the year. It just makes more sense. But again, like you said, it is Star Wars. There's still good things going on. There's an interesting dynamic between the two droids, but it is kind of a knockoff R2-D2 C-3PO play. It's just I don't want to see it. I want to see what's going on between the main storyline.
Exactly.
And,
I wouldn't have minded it in the middle of the season.
Exactly. It's just right now, the third to last episode in the season, it just doesn't make sense to be there.
I'm just saying, Disney and Lucasfilm, you got us. You got us with that season. Mid-season trailer. You tricked us and made us think there's going to be, who knows, these last 2 episodes could be amazing, but even if, I'm not going to forget that you gave us all these filler episodes.
Yeah, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the next episode, Mystery Chopper Base. I did like it. Like, it was interesting seeing the new planet. It's going to be a rebel base, but it's a total filler. And there's some cool stuff between Kanan and Ezra, the back and forth between them.
Yeah, like I
really
said,
cool.
Character moments are cool to see, and it builds on their relationships. And I really actually liked the one of the last shots of Kanan and Hera, right?
Oh yeah, where they're hugging. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and she's like really worried because they're gonna go off on this mission, and she's like when they go in that cave, she's like, no, Kanan and Ezra go together, and then we got to get used to it without. So like those little things I appreciate and I like, and they build character, but like I said, that they're just filling in the time and wasting time to get to these last 2 episodes, which I'm pretty damn sure these last 2 episodes are going to be phenomenal.
I hope so.
And if they are, then they've redeemed themselves. But if we're going to do like an overall review of season 2, I'm not going to forget about all these filler episodes. It's going to bring down my overall score and my overall, view on the quality of the whole season. So
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I want to see that main story, man, because we've gotten bits and pieces of it. Like, what was it? I think there was the episode before the Forgotten Droid with the Jedi Temple.
Well, that was one of the greatest episodes they ever had.
Great, and then they kind of go towards these 2 episodes. It's very inconsistent, which is unfortunate. But like you said, if these last 2 episodes are what we hope they are, then it might redeem our thoughts on it.
And I want to make sure people aren't misunderstanding us, or at least me. They're not bad episodes. Like, I don't watch them and say they're horrible. They're irrelevant to the overall scope of what it's supposed to be leading towards and what they promised us in that mid-season trailer. So,
okay, well, moving on to our final segment of the Padawan. We haven't done this in a few weeks, but it is Jacob's turn for Address the Academy, where one of us brings up something on the table. We talk about whether it's movies, TV shows, comic books, anything in the galaxy of Star Wars. So, without further ado, go ahead.
So I want to talk about how Rey and Finn will never end up together. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's do this.
No, fellow Academy members, I would like to bring up something that Jake mentioned last Padawan podcast, but we didn't really get to talk about it. You slightly mentioned it, and my whole entire mind was boggled, and it changed my whole perspective on a lot of things, and I actually think it's true. So, spoilers, in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren kills Han Solo. Or does he? There's been some speculation going around that Han Solo actually grabbed the lightsaber and turned it on to kill himself. And when you first said it, it's shocking to hear, but think about it. Kylo Ren is on this path he's on the dark side, but he's going further and further.
Darker than we've ever seen.
Down the dark side, and we know he's getting pulled by the light. And, we know Snoke is overseeing and making sure that Kylo Ren follows his path towards the dark side. And everyone says Kylo Ren kills Han Solo. He's not redeemable after that. There's no way. It's not like Vader where he can redeem himself eventually. You killed Han Solo. That's what a lot of Star Wars fans are saying. I don't necessarily agree with that. There's always room for redemption, but that's how a lot of Star Wars fans feel. But let's consider the fact that, or not the fact, but the possibility that Han Solo turned that lightsaber on. Han Solo's looking at it like, my son is blinded by Snoke and the dark side. If he kills me himself, then that's going to further his path to the dark side. He's going to become dark. If I do it, he didn't do it. So it's not going to further himself into the darkness. And don't forget, Kylo Ren says, right after that happens, Kylo Ren says, thank you. And we all just think that he's saying, thank you for letting me kill you. But it would make sense. He's saying, thank you for doing it so I didn't have to do it. And we see the struggle in Kylo Ren's face. He didn't want to do it, but he knew he had to. And if Han Solo actually did it, then in a way he's saving his son. So it would mean so much. So I want to know how you two feel about it. Jake, let's start with you. Do you think it's possible? And if it is, what do you think it means?
I do think it's possible because right before the lightsaber turned on, they cut away. And maybe they didn't know about it at the time, but it's highly possible that could have happened because, like you said, he was struggling with the fact of killing him. And maybe he realized, or Han Solo realized, hey, look, if he does this, then he goes down a path darker than Vader.
Exactly.
Like this puts him on high chances that he actually turned the lightsaber on himself. But if he did it himself, he's on the darkest path we've ever seen in Star Wars ever. And Han Solo realizes that through all the struggles he's had with him over the years. He realized, hey, I have to be the father that I should be, and I need to do this for him. It's a different Han Solo we've ever seen. And if it's true, then I don't know what's going to happen with this character, man. Because I've expected to him become this big bad, like a huge bad, and not cross over to the good, just because I want to see the Rey Kylo Ren thing with good and evil.
I think we will, but
whether they're relatives or not,
yeah.
I don't know. But I want to see those two go at it at some point when they're fully trained and whatnot. But if this ends up being the case, then Star Wars goes down a path we haven't seen before. Like that's some dark stuff right there. Someone to turn on a lightsaber and kill himself.
Well, he did it for his son, though.
Yeah, but that's dark.
If he did do it,
like that's dark, and that changes the whole perspective of Kylo Ren. And what does it mean for him going forward with training with Snoke and possibly Benicio del Toro's character, whatever he is, and all that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting question and something that's popped up just lately, not right away, and it continues the conversation, and it kind of furthers. The Force Awakens has engraved in our minds, like, what is this? What is the universe going towards?
Yeah.
And if this is true, like, we have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
So.
Gio, do you think this is a possibility? And if it is, what do you think it means?
I think it's absolutely a possibility. I think it's also possible that Lucasfilm didn't even think about this until a fan brought it up, because I think the movie goes as we all thought it would. Kylo Ren turned on the lightsaber, but now that this is brought up, I think it's so interesting, and it does something different for Kylo Ren. Because the fact that he didn't kill his father did it for him. He's going to now spend the rest of his training, always conflicted. He's going to try his best to maybe hide it from Snoke.
Exactly.
But it's probably not going to work out that way. They're probably going to break him down like how a drill sergeant breaks down a new recruit Marine, Now, will they reveal that in episode 9
That's
at
what I
some
was
point?
just thinking about.
Let's
When
say,
would it be revealed?
Let's say Rey and Kylo Ren, have a big battle, but then where do you reveal that? Before, after?
Well, what if they do it like this? Like, say they're fighting, and Kylo Ren has a chance to kill her, but he lets her go. Like, could that kind of hint towards him? Maybe that being a possibility.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
I mean, in episode 8, I could see that happening. Because middle films are typically the darkest ones, so I could see that happening.
It would be so interesting because we've never seen. Let's just call him a Sith for the sake of the argument. A Sith play the Sith or play the dark side for good.
Well, if this is true, I still think Kylo Ren wants to be on the dark side, but I don't think
because Vader
exactly.
Yeah.
But I just think he's not, because if he did kill his father, he's full dark. But now, if he didn't, and Han Solo did push that button, then we go back to where we were in The Force Awakens, where he's on the dark side, but he's being pulled to the light still. I actually really believe this is true. And I think they knew I think it was the plan all along. Because the more and more I think about it, when he says thank you, so it kind of makes sense if he actually killed Han Solo, but why would he say thank you? Think about that. Why? Han Solo didn't do much other, than walk up to him. There's no reason for him to say thank you. I really think Han Solo pushed that button save his son.
The only way that I could think of thank you being,
him trying to take it away.
Well, that or when, say, someone with a mental break, when they kill someone, they say thank you to them for letting them be killed,
Yeah.
And that could, because we saw his behavior throughout the movie. He was insane, just straight insane. That's the only other way I can think about it, but
I think it makes more sense if Han
it's
Solo pushed the
interesting.
button.
It's very interesting going forward because, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And you think about it, it's true J.J. Abrams. That is so J.J. Abrams.
Well, I think this is what I think. I mean, I'm not going to put money on it, but this is what I think is going to happen. We heard Han Solo's coming back for flashbacks for Episode 8, right? I think that's one of the flashbacks. I think they show it from a different angle, and they show Han Solo turning the lightsaber on. So we'll see. All right, well, that's my address to the Academy. Please let us know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you think it's possible that Han Solo turned on a lightsaber to kill himself to save his son, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren? Let us know, please.
Yeah, well, that's going to wrap up our episode for today. Before we get out of here, I want to thank both Jacob and Gio for joining us. Jacob, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at @JacobBarley_ on this Apocaflix Movies YouTube channel all the time. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button.
And Gio?
You guys can find me on Twitter at GioRamos24 and on apocaflixmovies.com. Check out Rumor Central.
Yeah, check out everything we're doing on the YouTube channel. Some big things going on here. Check out apocaflixmovies.com every day. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, may the Force be with you.